All right, everybody, I'm back and I'm here with also Roger from the COUNTER RUCK podcast. Sorry, man, waiting for another episode, man. What's going on?
Mate, I think it doesn't help that the Warriors are not doing so well. The kick off Vegas, and so head honcho Stacey might be just still a little bit depressed. But he should be happy after getting a victory last Friday with the Blues, first of the season for them.
Oh, yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I'm glad they got one on the board, eh? Been, man. But we'll
Got a
get to
little bit
that.
to say about that one.
We'll get to that. Well, yeah, that's a good excuse for Stace to do episodes since his
Yeah, I
Warriors
would
been
have
doing well,
thought
man.
after the first two rounds, after those previews, the season preview, and then the first round review was like, oh yeah, but then yeah, the other loss didn't help.
Anyway, I got you here on the podcast. So before for Friday's game, because round four is going to happen for Super Rugby Pacific, and got you on to so we can break down the games this weekend for Super Rugby Pacific and just give our picks to see who's going to win or lose, right? So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, man, shall we make a start? We'll make a start. So Friday tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eden Park. We got the Blues versus the Brumbies. Now this game, both teams are having slow starts, eh? So and like you said, the Blues won their first game last week. The Brumbies won their first game, but then they've sort of fallen off a cliff, right? They've lost their last two games by 45 points. Or they've conceded 45 points on those last two games. So that talks to their defense, right? And I think as a Blues fan, I can say the same about the Blues. You know, their defense hasn't been that hot. Their attack hasn't been that hot with their two losses they've had. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tight match, eh? A tight match. I think Stephen Larkham's pissed off that his team has lost last two games. They don't want to go three in a row. But the Brumbies in history haven't done well against New Zealand teams over here in
Yeah,
New Zealand. So there's
they're
that
probably
as
the most
well.
successful Australian super team as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The last win the Brumbies had at Eden Park was 2013. So that's a telling stat. They might break the record. I don't know. But yeah, the Blues have a 11 game winning streak against
Against
all Aussie teams. Right? They've won 23 of the last 24 games against Aussie teams. But I think this year is different because of the slow start to the Blues, and you could say a slow start to the Brumbies because they lost to the Western Force, right? You know?
Yeah, that was unexpected. I thought that local derby, the Brumbies would be able to secure that one well and truly, but Western Force had other plans. They've had a couple of good wins.
Yeah. So, Borden Barrett, he's going to start at 10 for the first time this season. They've taken out Harry Plummer. He's on the bench for Cole Forbes. He's at fullback. And I think they're just buying their time waiting for Perifetza to come back, eh?
It was interesting what Willie was saying that about the Blues, how they should just cut their losses with Harry Plummer in the pod earlier this week. And for me, I was surprised that Harry Plummer was still. I thought he was going overseas, or was it at the end of this season that he was going overseas?
After the Super season, yeah.
After this season, yeah. So if Forbes is the future, unless they want to try something different, just, whether Harry Plummer was effective for them in the weekend just gone. So a bit of a lucky escape, I believe, against the Canes. The Canes were unfortunate. There were moments that the Canes could have won it during that game, but I think it's just that unfortunate that last scrum that the referee interpreted that it was deemed to be a penalty for the Blues, and they were able to escape out of jail there. But I guess Harry Plummer is just an interesting call. If they're going to leave him right out, but then they still include him in the back in the reserves there, just to give a go for Cole Forbes. But you could argue that has Beauden Barrett been effective at fullback this year so far? I'm not sure. So they're just trying something different, and like you say, waiting for Perifeta to be fighting fit. Interesting also that they've got Offa on the bench. He started the last couple of games, especially when he clocked up his 150. Was he starting last week? He started as well. I think, and then Angus Ta'avale's, obviously and he was a part of that scrum that was successful in the dying minutes against the Canes, so he gets rewarded with a start.
Renata's on the bench,
And
as well.
Renata, so he started a couple of the first. I think he started either both or at least one of those, two of those out of the three. So it's interesting change up from Vern. Maybe they want a little bit of impetus with these guys that have been coming off the bench, Josh Fustua and Angus Ta'avale. Nathaniel Pole has been consistent on the bench as well. But I'm not sure about that loose trio though.
Yeah.
Anton Segner, Cameron Sulfur. I don't know too much about Cam Christie. Obviously well deserved start for him. But I don't know too much about these guys. But Patrick Tupolot will be looking to lead the charges.
But they're up against the loose trio over the Brumbies. Rory Scott, he's a stalwart over there, and Brumbies got that Charlie Cale, who's making some noise there.
Yeah,
he's in number 8.
I think Roma, he got injured last week.
He's on the bench. For the Brumbies.
Oh man, he's a soldier. Him and Brown for the Chiefs. Brown, Parker. Well, we'll talk about them later on. But these guys are Roma's sort of staking a claim to be included later on in the internationals for the Wallabies. The way he's playing and then the way he was trying to soldier on despite injuring his knee last week.
He had a massive game against the Dura, their first game. When he came off the bench and stole a few balls there.
Yeah, and that's everyone's talking about all the turnover balls and ruck time, and we saw a real awesome competition between Tabatawa Nawai and Adi Savia last week when the when the Highlanders came up to Harbour Stadium against Moana. But these guys like Luke Rodman, there's their bread and butter for these guys in the loose trio. So it'd be interesting to see that fight against the trio of the Blues. But you got guys like Nick Frost. You look at that lineup: James Slipper, Alan Alatoa, Hooper, Scott, Kaiwa, like you mentioned. Man, these guys have been around the traps a little bit, and Ikitau trying to, shore up. There were some lapses in his defence over the last couple of weeks, especially when they, playing against the Chiefs. But they'll be looking to rectify some of those errors from last week. But by all accounts, Tom Wright always has a good game, and Muirhead as well.
And then their backs there, yeah. Interesting. Will be the battle of the Moors. I think the Brumbies lead the whole comp with meters from Moors. 72 meters. I saw the stat. And in the Blues, that's why they tend to get Riccatelli to score those tries off the Moors.
That's right.
So
similar to what Cody Taylor used to do. Was doing for the Satyrs.
So I think that'll be interesting contest, but I don't know if we did the justice saying all the factors, but who do you think is going to win this game, and with what margin? Because to me it looks like it might be even. I don't know.
It should be a good game.
Yeah,
good tight tussle, and like you say, it's going to be a battle of the forwards. But then and it's who can have that dominance up front and then unleash their respective backlines, because they've both got great backlines as well. And if they get some good go forward ball out to either of these backlines, it could be the difference, and it's going to be a good competition. It's going to be a question of who can defend these attackers the best. So because you look at it, there's All Blacks, there's Wallabies right throughout the park, so it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tight one. I'm picking the Brumbies to upset, only because they would have been ruining the fact that they had a good comeback against the Chiefs last week, and it was looking like it was going to be a big hiding. I mean, 49 to 34 still a big margin. It's high scoring games, but I think the Brumbies just might be able to break the streak that the Blues have against the Aussie teams and get a win on hallowed ground as Eden Park.
I've got a case for both teams winning this game, but to tip it over the cliff, it's going to be home advantage for me, and the fact that Lucile's not there. Is he injured or he hasn't been playing? So they moved Brendan Barrett back to 10. So I think that might help.
Because Noah Lucille, he was playing in Fiji, wasn't he? When they played against the draw, I think he was playing.
He's not on the bench, and yeah, so he must be injured.
Yes, so just resting him up a little bit, but yeah, I can't see. Yeah, like you say, case for both teams to win it, but yeah,
because my case for Brumbies winning it, because man, it's hard for them to lose 3 in a row. They would have got a big rev up. They would have been hard out training. Stephen Larkham's not happy. They need to get a win, and that's probably the best chance to get that win, because the Blues haven't been looking that hot either. They beat the Hurricanes, but I think Hurricanes are not that flash either. So Brumbies are definitely better than the Hurricanes, I think. So this is an upgrade match for the Blues.
Well, it just makes it really hard to pick, because even when you go back to that first round with the Hurricanes and the Crusaders, that was going to be a titanic of a match anyway. Then Crusaders were able to topple the Canes there, but they were close. And then so the Hurricanes would be wanting to get a win eventually, but if the Blues win, do you still think they can win the whole thing? Okay.
If the Blues win, they can't play like they did round 1. They can't play like they did round 2. They have to play better than they did when they played the Hurricanes. Because when if I do the eye test, right, like the Chiefs, you can't go past the Chiefs, right? They look dominant every minute of the game, right? Yeah. And then especially in the second half, they just run away with it,
Yeah.
And in some level, the Crusaders too. If you do the eye test on the Crusaders, for all the New Zealand teams, you do the eye test. I got Chiefs on top. I got Crusaders second. I got Highlanders at my third team, and then the Blues, and then Hurricanes. That's my power ranking. Yeah. So the Blues need to change, and this is the game where we have to see them perform better than they have been this whole season. So
do you think Hoskins, did he bring anything different last week? Because he's not involved this week again.
Nah, he's not involved for 3 weeks. He's out.
Damn.
Suspended for 3 weeks. But he scored that one try, but he was kind of invisible during the game. The 3-week suspension, it doesn't help him either.
Yeah, because you got these guys that are just going to be jumping at the bit to get a spot on the bench, let alone start. And then when things like that happen, get suspended for 3 weeks, it opens up the door for someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you got Brumbies, I got Blues.
Brumbies 12 and under. 12
and under. I got Blues 12 and under. Okay, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Dura and Chiefs. It's over there in Fiji at Churchill Park.
Yeah,
a place where Dura's won most of the games. I think they've only lost one game there.
They only lost one game. That was against Brumbies this year. So it's the first time that they've lost at home.
Damien McKenzie, he's like, man, he's leading the comp in tackle breaks and in points as well. But you've got Quinn Tupaia, he's coming up too with all these stats as well, hey man.
Oh man, some of his line breaks, his carries last week, it's awesome the way Quinn's sort of come back from a long layoff of injury and sort of putting his hand up for higher honours and just to make a statement.
He's got 7 line breaks to his name and 14 tackle breaks. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And especially in a year where, you got someone that's hot on, at least he's getting some attention from all the commentators and a lot of would-be selectors in Tawatawa down Highlander country, for a potential All Blacks berth. But then you got someone like Kuntapaya who's saying, hey, don't forget me, I'm still here. I was an All Black once and I want to be an All Black again. and so what he's been doing already in the first 3 weeks is pretty incredible. Just playing with a lot of confidence and flair, and just some of what he's doing with his throwing his body into the line, and then just the nous to be able to run a support line or create space for his outsides.
It'll be interesting when it comes to end of the season when they make up the All Blacks team, see who gets in again, because there'll be a logjam of players pulling their hand up, man.
Well, you talk about the end of year season, the Northern Hemisphere tour, but then you got the middle of the year internationals as well, those autumn internationals. So it'll be interesting to see who gets put in there for Rugby Championship and who's touring. The French are coming here, eh?
Yep.
So whether Quintupaia is involved then, or do they blood someone like a Tawatawa Nawa, or stay with the tried and true? Riku Iwane seems like he's got a mortgage on the centre there with Anton Leonard-Brown, and so it's who accompanies them in that midfield brace as potential backups. It's good to see Sean Stevenson.
He's back, eh?
He's back. He's on the bench. So he's just come back from Japan and looking to not only push for a final berth with the Chiefs, but possibly stake a claim, add to his one cap as an All Black. So I saw there was some stuff about him. I thought they wouldn't include him straight away, but yeah, he was just playing in Japan, I think, a week or two ago.
Because when's their season finished? Is it finished?
I think it depends on how deep into the competition you go. I think they go further into March, April. Not 100% sure, but maybe his team's out.
Oh, so they've got even more firepower then. So the last time Chiefs were over there, Churchill Park, they just won 35-34. So yeah, so
that's the thing with the draw. With their record that they got at home, with only the most recent slip up against the Brumbies, they're a dangerous team, man. And when you talk about home advantage, even though like I'm going against what I said with the Blues, their home crowd is slightly different. It's not like a New Zealand crowd. Their home crowd is vocal. They're always cheering, always up. You can hear them even through the TV screens, and I think that's the extra push that they give the team, even if they are down and out. And we've seen in that first game against the Brumbies, even though the Brumbies eventually won it, the crowd are just so vocal and behind their team, regardless of the score. So they'll be a hard one to drown out, and I'm still leaning towards the Chiefs to win it, but I'm thinking that it could potentially be an upset there with a draw.
Yeah, because they've lost all their games so far, but only by 5 points or less.
Yeah, and the close, and that's the thing, close losses, eh? So it's only a matter of time. Either they're going to win by a close margin, or I think the Chiefs will give them a hiding.
So this is hard to pick, eh?
Yeah, because they've got good players right across the board too. I like the draw boys.
Yeah.
Frank Lamani, he's doing it, and then he's so good when he's on there.
Yeah. So who you picking?
Can I be indecisive and say if the draw win, it's going to be by 12 and under, but if the Chiefs win, it's going to be a hiding.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Man, I'm going to go for the upset, eh? I'm going to go for the upset. I think Dura's had 3 close losses, and they just need to get over the line. But again, like me and Willie were talking about, like those little micro skills, eh? Lets these Islanders down, eh? Like our teams, eh, man? Like,
because as good as their flair is, when they do some crazy stuff that you don't even practice some of the stuff that they can get away with when it's the Fijian flair, and then just real basic skills lets them down, just holding on to the ball and
coming out with a team with class like the Chiefs. That's gonna. I'm gonna go for Chiefs, man. Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs.
Oh!
I think
I thought you were going upset.
There's micro skills.
But
Michael
under the
Scholes
pressure,
let them down.
it seems like when they get away with all the flair, it seems like, man, and yet they dropped the ball that was just seems to be the most basic of passes that you should have caught, but they can, that's the massive contrast, and it can let them down in the end. But yeah, I'll stick with what I just said. It's either going to be a hiding 13 plus for the Chiefs or a close win for the home crowd.
Okay, I'm going to go 12 and under Chiefs. All right, the next game is 7 p.m. Moana Pasifika and the Hurricanes at North Harbour Stadium. Second home game for Moana.
Mm-hmm. They had a good crowd last week.
Yeah.
I think they're trying. I'm not too sure what's happening with North Harbour Stadium, but interesting location is the home base for Moana. I know. I'm not too sure what the logistics were with Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart, and how long they were supposed to be housed there for. But I guess in a way it does make sense for Harbour Stadium to be utilised because it's, in the past it's been a Blues home ground. It was one of the Blues home grounds. So
it was only last year, I think. Last year that I heard it's falling apart. It's been neglected as a building, and they're trying to refurbish it or something like that. I think the council was talking about putting money into it to redo it and stuff like that. So I thought North Harbour Stadium's days were numbered, but no, it's back with Moana. But yeah, it's interesting. He said they got moved there. I guess it makes sense because next to the Moana, all the North Shore beaches around there. So I guess that's the obvious choice. But if you think about it, look who's at the Go Media Stadium. Like you got Auckland FC just filling up the place every week now. So
and I guess with the crowd that Auckland FC have sort of been able to lure into their games, afternoon games, I might add, I guess it's been real beneficial for the revenue that can be generated there through that soccer, the soccer following. But then you look at North Harbour Stadium, makes sense. It might have been the next best option because it's vacant. It doesn't make sense on another hand because, North Harbour being on the North Shore, Albany to be precise, isn't really an area where you'd associate with Pacific Islanders in terms of where they reside. Counties Manukau and Pukekohe, that stadium there, I thought that would probably make more sense in terms of being closer to that the population, the Pacific Islanders. But
Artie's fair. He's been staff for that team, and he showed it last week. But he's playing open side again against Hurricanes, and I see Karifi's on the bench. He's coming off the bench.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I feel for a guy like Karifi. You got Brad Shields, Lakai, and Yossi, because I think Yossi's normally comes off the bench, say, in the last few years. He's got to start. So I take it Yossi will be 8, Lakai 7.
Yeah, Peter Lakai at 7.
But interesting, yeah, they got Brad Shields here. I'm not sure whether it's just doing a bit of a rotation thing and resting Karifi because, you don't want to underestimate a Moana Pasifika team or any of them like the Dura as well. But it should be a pretty good battle with guys like Miracle Whailangi and then Simisi Tailoa, the Bull Tailoa. But then
Hurricane first 5. The Harry Godfrey, he's good, eh? Man. He was awesome last week.
Yeah, no, he showed some good skills, old Harry. Just young kid, eh? But you know what I liked about Moana was the injection of Pellegrini. First 5. And I think he's now been, because when he came on, man, he was quick and nimble, and I think he's been playing over in England, but he's starting.
Oh,
yeah, he's starting this week.
Yeah, he changed the. They sort of changed the way the game was going, eh? When he came on for Garden Bishop.
Yeah, he just seemed a bit more just sharp with his distribution, and and speed as well. Real good on his feet. But that dangerous team of Moana, I'm picking the upset here.
This might be the upset there.
Mm.
This might be the upset.
If everything can align, and Tom Fiala will get some opportunities on the wing there, as he has been, especially in those first 2 weeks where you got two doubles. But then you've got, Danny Tuala. He's starting this time. He's an interesting character, Danny Tuala. He's a good hype man and really gets the team going. But, like last week, I'm just hoping it's not. The difference is the conversions or the lack of conversions from William Havili, because that could have, had he got those kicks over, we would be celebrating a Moana win.
And that's why I think William Havili is the key for Moana's success if he could get all those kicks over. Because he's been involved with a lot of tries. He's got 4 tries assists in the last 3 games, and he scored 2 tries himself. But yeah,
I think he punches. He punches above his weight because of his because he's quite slight. He's not the biggest in terms of his weight, especially. But he's a real skillful player. But yeah, it's just that they can capitalise on any opportunity with penalty kicks or conversions, which were the difference. So I think once he came off, once Pellegrini came on, then Pellegrini took over the kicking duties. But yeah, it should be. Hopefully they can do it, and I think Xavier doesn't change any. Adi doesn't change any. He's just going to lead the charges again.
The one other Hurricane I saw had a good game last week against the Blues was Umaga Jensen. He was hitting the line like hard out. I was like,
Yeah, true. But then you got a guy like Kini Naholo as well. It's going to be hard to contain, I reckon. And again, just simple errors. If they can't contain those guys, Braden Yossi on the charge, Kini Naholo, Peter Umaga Jensen as well. These guys and Ruben Love coming from the back. If they play smart, then they should be able to get an upset win. But there's a lot of firepower across the board for the Canes.
So who you got?
Moana for the upset win at home.
Moana for the upset.
12 and under.
12 and under.
And I'm just wondering whether the Canes are underestimating the Moana boys. And, the Moana boys will want to be doing this for Adi, his former team. He played 131 games for them. Man. Cam Roygaard's on the bench, Duplessis.
Is that a disrespect thing or?
I don't know. Maybe
thing?
It's a fine balance. I think they don't intend to disrespect or to make it come across to that, but it can be seen as that. It can be, yeah.
Well, Moana's pretty good in the second half, so maybe that's Impact just trying to balance out their second half, like revival sort of thing,
It'd be interesting to see how Jackson Gunn Bishop comes off the bench.
And
having started the first 3 games. And the Tevita offer, there wasn't enough to see with a young kid that debuted last week. Hopefully he gets a bit more game time. Because he's a young kid and, I think he's only 19 or 20, able to get a berth and a taste of Super Rugby.
I'm going for Hurricanes on this one.
Oosh.
I'm going to Hurricanes just because, I don't know, I think, again, those micro skills, will let Moana down again.
Adi will carry them.
And I think the bench will step up for Hurricanes, I think the bench will come on, provide that impact, and just tip them over.
Oh, there's a lot of experience there too. You got Roygaard, Karifi,
exactly.
You got Basilio, Tosi, Numia. Look at the injection they'll have at the front right there. So
I think that's recognizing the comeback that Moana has in the second half.
That's it. And Moana have been their scrummaging has been really good this season.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they're not taking them lightly, but it's still, Tavita Mafileo and this Siale Lawaki. I don't know too much about Siale. I don't know if I saw some post on social media whether he was related to Wax, but Oh no, I've seen him before. Yeah, he's had a few games for the Canes. He's the one with the big dyed hair, bit of a hair before, but he's a tall player. He's like 194 for a prop.
Yeah, I
But
reckon
yeah,
Clark Laidlaw is gonna outcoach Umanga. Yeah, that's why you see on the bench. That's a strategic bench right there. And that's gonna tip the scales. I think Hurricanes 12 and under.
yeah,
I'm going for.
potentially. I see you there. I see you there, Ken.
Okay, the last game that day, Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Tars and the Force. It's played in Sydney. Force has been a surprise, eh? The season of those
Yeah.
two wins already.
So they
Yeah,
got two out of two
two
out
out
of
of
three
three.
so far.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. They lost to the Reds last week at home
That's
too.
right.
But it was a high scoring game too. So that's a high scoring team, eh?
Mm.
But they've got that star on that Carlo Tizzano. So he's been a beast for the Force, eh? They got Theo Tompkinson from Highlanders. He's playing there, and Reed Prinsep from Hurricanes. He's playing there too.
Yeah, I remember Prinsep for
No
the.
Soli for Waratahs. Man, he must have had a bad injury, eh? Because it's been 3 weeks past since he played. So they had a
Didn't
bye, and he missed the last 2 games.
he only played the first game, eh?
He played the first game, and he went off injured, his calf. Then they had
Mm.
a bye. Then he hasn't played since. Yeah. But I think this is a game. This is like attack mentality of the Force versus a grinding team like the Waratahs. Like the Waratahs will just, I don't know, they're not that flashy, yeah, but they just grind you out. They're that sort of team.
Yeah, because they've got some good players that they've had for a wee while, and some that they've acquired. Like Rob Leota, I think, has come in from the. Where was he? He was at the Rebels before. But yeah, Dave Pericki is. He's not the bulky type of hooker like some of the other ones going around in Super Rugby, but and I think he was injured most of last year.
Hmm.
But he seems to be the mainstay for them in the front row there. But then
Yeah,
he's got
he's a solid hooker. Eh? I remember
mm,
when I picked him on our rugby fantasy. Like he was scoring points for me, man, every week.
yeah, and he's another one that can pop up and score a try.
Hmm.
And he's had a couple already, I think, or one or two this year so far. But you
Well,
got
if you look at their front row, they got Angus Bell,
Bull.
Tupou's there.
Yeah, I don't know too many on the bench, or not don't know too much about the guys on the bench. But the names like Talataina, Leofi, I think I've seen it. But yeah, Tizano for the Force. I think he's a former Wallaby, and Brandon Painga Amusa
Yeah,
as well, playing hooker.
he
Then
was
you
the
got
Reds, eh?
Darcy Swain.
Almost,
Yeah, then
he
you
was
got
at Reds,
Darcy
yeah.
Swain.
Hmm.
And obviously Nick White, Ben Donaldson.
I don't know if you
Um,
watched that game, the Western Force and Moana game. I think that was the first game,
yeah,
and the Force won. But that style of play with the Force, like that fast team, eh? Like that's how they play, eh? Like that's their identity. So
mm. It was a hard one, that game, because Moana sort of lost that game, especially in the last minute, obviously with
yeah,
Donaldson. But
the last 8
and
minutes.
it was interesting to see how Moana was able to capitalise and get ahead early. And I think a massive factor, and when we mentioned that front row for the Waratahs, will be because Moana, they demolished their scrum. They will be, and then it was okay. First game, are they really a good measure? Does it really mean that Moana's improved in the scrummaging area, or are the Force um, just having a real bad day at the office? No cohesion there. But then they got no excuses now. It's coming up against in the fourth week against two Wallaby props, Daniela and Angus.
Mm.
So it'll be a good litmus test for the Force, because it was their scrummaging was a bit of a shambles in that first game.
I'm not sure if they tidied it up, but they did win the second game against the Brumbies.
Yeah, but then and then they won the next week in their local derby against the Brumbies.
And then they lost at home against the Reds, so you can't tell, eh?
It's hard to so they've dropped. Yeah, dropped. Oh no, they've won 1-2,
They won 2,
lost 1.
lost 1, yeah. So I think another toss of the coin, eh? This one.
I'll go Waratahs on this one.
Home. Yeah, I think so too. I think, yeah, too strong at home. I think 12 and under. Because the Waratahs like to keep it close, eh?
12 and under. A Brookie for a double.
Okay, final game Sunday, 9th of March, 3:30 p.m. So that's a good afternoon time to, after Kongai, sit down and watch some rugby. We've got Crusaders Reds down in Christchurch. So Crusaders coming off a bye. Reds coming off 2 wins. They had a bye in the first round. So I don't think they do well over in Christchurch. But
Cody Taylor's back.
Yeah.
All black front row there. Sheesh.
Cody Taylor's back. Bit of a reunion for James O'Connor, his team coming down.
Yeah. And even Levi Elmore probably knows some of those guys and the Reds.
Well, he's on the bench, so he got dropped for
he's on the bench.
Dallas McLeod. So one of that's
and the two very different midfielders, eh?
Yeah, I wonder if that's a performance thing or just a strategic thing.
Yeah, who are they coming up against? So you've got Tim Ryan, Dre Pakeho. Is Filippo Daungunu put into centre?
Yeah.
Jeez, it's another one who's just a winger most of the time, and yet he's been chucked in. I mean, he is another compact sort of unit, but he's not big and burly like Tawatawa Nawai. But I guess that sort of makes sense. You got Dallas McLeod and David Havili. You could probably try and shore up midfield before they.
Chuck Campbell's not there. He must be injured. They've got that new guy at the back, Hedemaya Murray, Key Anderson on the wing. So I think, I think the Crusaders back 3 are too good. They're too good for the Reds. Back line. But the Reds, if you look at the loose trio the Reds have, they look like all-stars, eh? They got Fraser McWright playing open.
Harry Wilson,
and Liam Wright. Liam Wright was a star 2 years ago, eh?
Yeah.
Then he had those injuries. But he's a starting Wallaby. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
It's a battle of, you got some good loosies playing in this game for the Reds, and then we've spoken about Roma and the contingent that they have for the Brumbies too. So, man, and these guys are trying to push for those higher honours too. Harry Wilson's been a shoo-in for the last few weeks, as well as Liam Wright. And then even Fraser McWright as well.
Yeah. So he's been on form. But nah, I think Crusaders too good. I think Crusaders 13 plus.
I'll go for the upset. Reds.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
But my head says not.
Yeah,
my heart says go Reds, but
my heart's saying Reds to win. I'm not thinking with my head. I'm trying to. Maybe I'm not good for this segment. I'm saying Reds win. Better for the Chiefs.
Okay, man. That's the games for round 4. Now, as we were going this, I was thinking like how we were like struggling to come up with a winner straight away, like automatic. That shows how much this competition is now, eh? Like some competition going on now, eh?
From the first round, and we saw how it just sparked so much interest and just the excitement factor, the speed of the game, the close wins, the close games, high scoring games as well, and and it's unfortunate because it's almost. Would you prefer a hiding to as your supporter? Would you prefer the hiding, or would you rather take a close loss, which is more devastating? But then I guess from a spectatorship, watching the high scoring games, is a lot more attractive, especially when we're going to be competing with. Now, spectatorship's going to have competition with the NRL that's soon to kick off this weekend as well. Well, it's kicked off last week, but that's a non-event because the Warriors didn't do so well. But, it's so. I think it's put Super Rugby in a good stead moving into this season. And it's, probably a bit more interest in the game, and because of the fast and nature that it's been going at, and the exciting nature and the close wins, so it's really hard to pick a winner.
Yeah, that's right. And it proves, because look, we're doing this for 50 minutes.
Editor,
trying to pick winner this week.
Cut out all my rambling. Cut out all my rambling.
Nah.
Yeah.
Sweet, that's us. Thanks for jumping on. Hopefully you guys will. Stace will do a counter ruck next week.
Sweet.
And yeah, man, I'll be there to produce. But
nice.
any plans for the weekend?
Nah, probably look forward to that game on Sunday with the Crusaders and Reds in the weekend. Sunday afternoon. That should be a good one. Otherwise, family and kids' extracurricular activities.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to Blues win tomorrow, and Manly Seagulls putting one on the board. Round 1 against the Cowboys. Depleted Cowboys.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it's going to be a good continuation of round 1. I think the Warriors just all about another season and another 20 jerseys for their fans to buy.
Might have to get a ticket for Go Media. Round 2.
That one game. Got to be there for that one game.
Okay, so thanks for jumping on, man. Have a good weekend, and yeah, man, do this again.
Sweet brother. Go the Chiefs.